Our message to every gun owner is this: secure your firearms in accordance with the law.
Right now at 6 o'clock, a Connecticut teenager is still in the hospital after accidentally shooting himself in the head. Police said they found over a dozen guns in the teen's home, and a lot of them were not locked up.
Changes could be coming to your commute, what the Connecticut DOT has in store for the state's rail and bus services, and how you can have your perspective, your voice heard.
Also this morning, we'll tell you how officers in our state are stepping up to make sure students get to class safely.
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good Tuesday morning. Thanks for being with us here on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus, America Areas.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning. Yeah, we hope your Tuesday's off to a good start after a beautiful day yesterday. Today might be even better if you like that summer weather.
I'm thinking so. We're checking in with Matt Scott for those details. Hey, Matt.
Nothing like that October heat to deal with, which is what we've got today. It's another beaut. Good morning to you. Record heat possible today and tomorrow. It's going to be close. Rain, however, returns. And when we say a familiar place, we're talking about a place that we've seen it for the last month. We'll talk about that coming up. Satellite radar pictures quiet. Got a light wind out of the west-northwest, becoming southerly later on this afternoon, and that's going to help build up the temperatures and the dew points a little bit. Current numbers down to 45. Wilmanic and Putnam feels good there. 51 in the capital, 52 in New Haven. We have 55 right now. Good morning to you in Bridgeport. Winds are fairly calm. There's a little fog out there. Not seeing any major visibility reductions, but stand by, that might be an issue throughout the morning rush. We'll get you up to date with the viz coming up. 51 now, a couple of low clouds, but a lot of sunshine on the way as we make a run at the lower 80s. The old record, 85 degrees. We're going to get there. We'll talk about it coming up. Symphony's going to tell you if you're going to get there slowly or quickly. With a look at traffic. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you, Matt, and good morning, sunshine. Now, some folks are going to run into a couple of slowdowns out there, so let's get you up to speed on the crashes we're checking out this morning. Starting off in Southington this morning, there's a tractor-trailer crash on 84 eastbound between exits 30 and 31, and right now the highway is closed in that area. No word on any injuries reported, but we are expecting an update from state police on this scene, this matter here on the roads this morning at some point later on today. Also in Waterbury, tractor-trailer crash on 84 westbound at exit 17. Traffic conditions are improving, so I believe they have the crash cleared, and we see a lot of that backup that we saw about 30 minutes ago has cleared up in that area. A bit of good news here. Taking a quick look at the traffic flow in the capital city. Looks good so far. Let's take a quick look at the Hartford drive time. Smooth sailing on 91, 84, and Route 2. I'll have another update at 6:30.
Well, Connecticut commuters are going to have the chance to weigh in on a proposed bus and rail service change this week. The changes could include reduction in service as well as fare hikes.
Yep, the Department of Transportation is hosting a whole series of public hearings to get your input, if you want to give it. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joins us live in New Haven with the details. Good morning.
Tim, Erica, good morning. Those possible reductions in service as well as the fare hikes really causing some questions and concerns among commuters here in Connecticut. Now, under this current proposal, rates for Shoreline East as well as the Hartford line and Metro North would all increase about 4.5%. And now let's talk about those service changes you may expect to see when it comes to rail service. Those include decreased weekday service on the New Haven line, cutting 2 trains Monday through Thursday and 8 trains on Friday. Also decreased weekday service on the New Canaan and Danbury lines, cutting 2 trains on those lines, and decreased weekday service on Shoreline East by cutting 7 trains. The DOT says the changes come from the state budget passed by lawmakers and signed by the governor earlier this year, and the changes are reflective of current ridership demand. But some commuters shared their worries at a public hearing last night in New Haven, mainly focusing on the impacts here in the Shoreline area.
This isn't just a ridership issue, which is big enough in itself, but now the area employers, Yale, it could be Pfizer, Electric Boat, anyone up and down the shoreline that is trying to recruit people, that's a problem.
We're certainly seeing lots of people utilize public transportation throughout Connecticut. The days of the week and the times of the day, that's where things have changed.
So we talked about the rail service, now let's talk about bus service. Those proposals include one new route in the CT Transit Hartford division, 2 new routes in the CT Transit New Haven division, and also improvements to service frequencies on 2 CT Fast Track routes, and also additional changes to 8 routes in the Hartford division, including decreased service frequency, route restructuring, and route elimination with replacement service. Now, there are 4 of these public hearings scheduled for people to voice their thoughts and opinions on all these potential changes. One of those happened last night. Another one is happening tonight in Hartford. That will start at 6 p.m. and that's taking place at the Capital Region Council of Governments. That building is on Main Street, again, starting at 6 p.m. tonight. We have all the details about these public input sessions as well as how you can voice your opinion on our website, that is fox61.com. You're live in New Haven this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Okay, Angelo, thank you for that report. We do appreciate it. It is 6:06. Police in Southbury have really stepped up their presence, reminding drivers to slow down, especially when they're in school zones.
Yeah, Fox 61's Brooke Griffin rode along with one of those officers who says keeping kids safe is their #1 priority. Brooke is showing us live now in Southbury with much more. Brooke, good morning.
And good morning to you. Southbury police are at each school here in Southbury every morning at those crosswalks and intersections. They tell me that being out and being visible is something that's really important because that means that they can keep those kids away from distracted drivers. We all know the school zone rules.
We're looking for speeders. We're looking for people passing cars unsafely. We're looking for people that are distracted, maybe on their phones or not paying attention to the roadway.
But Southbury police tell me having that knowledge and abiding by it are 2 very different things.
I think people are just in the zone. They're trying to get where they go. They're not paying attention to kids crossing the street or their speed.
And when distractions get the best of drivers, officers say that lack of attention could become fatal.
In the middle of the crosswalk, in fluorescent orange, I have my cruiser out. The lights are on. It should be very apparent to any driver on the road that they need to slow down and be cautious, and there may or may not be somebody in that crosswalk.
Some Southbury parents say they are grateful for these officers every day.
Having our local police department just involved in monitoring our schools and available to respond quickly is extremely important.
And this is why Southbury police personally direct traffic every morning and afternoon. The one goal being to keep the kids safe.
Most of my time on patrol is dealing with juveniles and in and out of the school.
They say anyone putting lives in danger will face the consequences.
I'll be 32 with a written warning for 14-218 Alpha. Then you can put me on a speed enforcement card in the 600 block of Main Street South in front of Pomfrey Elementary.
The biggest part of it is talking to that person and educating them about their speed, reminding them of what the speed is if they aren't aware of what the speed actually is, whatever that repercussion is, whether it's a warning or a ticket.
And some of those other police departments that I've spoken with across Connecticut say as people become more and more distracted every day, they're out patrolling even more and handing out a lot more tickets than in years past. Live in Southbury, Brooke Griffin, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Brooke, thanks so much for the update there. We'll check back for sure. Well, meantime, a Watertown teen remains in the hospital this morning after police say he accidentally shot himself with a gun. Police say the boy was home alone playing with an unsecured gun when it went off on Saturday. Police got a search warrant for the house. They say they found 23 guns, most of which were not locked up. Police say this was a preventable tragedy.
Our message to every gun owner is this: secure your firearms in accordance with the law.
Connecticut's updated safe storage law just went into effect on Sunday. Requires people to lock up guns in a container when there are other people in the house, regardless of their age. The Department of Children and Families is now investigating the shooting with Watertown police. 2 Sacred Heart University students hurt in a crash last week are now out of the hospital. The students were riding in an Uber when it crashed into another car just after midnight on Friday. The driver and passenger in that other car are still in the hospital. Both are also Sacred Heart students.
New this morning, a woman is dead after being hit by a car while walking in Stratford. That happened around 7:15 last night on Main Street near Garden Street. Police have not identified the woman publicly, but they did say the driver of the car that hit her stayed at the scene and is cooperating with their investigation. Well, how about this? Police have found an abducted 9-year-old girl in upstate New York. She is alive and is healthy after being gone for the past 2 days.
Yeah, thank goodness. Charlotte Cena was taken by a man while she was out riding a bike during a family camping trip in Saratoga County. Police say that her abductor left a ransom note for Charlotte's parents, and they were able to get a usable fingerprint from it. That led them to a camper RV in the town of Milton. That's about 17 miles away. And they found Charlotte in a cupboard in that camper. Right now, Charlotte is being checked out at a hospital, but for now, people all over the country who are following this story so closely are breathing a huge sigh of relief. I was just talking to my neighbor about this yesterday, and how she was saying they used to go camping with their twins. They would let them ride their bikes around all the time. It's just so terrifying. Because you were in that same situation. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, I know I'm as guilty of it as anybody. We call a lot of things here in the news a parent's worst nightmare.
Well, and you let your kids walk down the street to the neighbors.
Yeah.
And you just never know.
That was the parent's worst nightmare. But my goodness. So we are so happy that it looks like she was found safe and alive. All right.